AutoZoneGolfCards.com.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a busted or leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
Tired of flipping through channels and finding nothing good? Introducing Lucid Stream TV. Get over 2,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch local network channels from most major markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. Just $41.99 a month. Cut the cord, not the fun. To get Lucid Stream TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click the Lucid TV logo.
What does it take to live an uncommon life? Here's former Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy with today's uncommon moment.
When I was coaching, we would have the players come in for a workout on Monday, then give them Tuesday off because many times a player suffered an injury in the game and didn't realize it until practice the next day. That day after workout revealed the need for treatment. The Bible says God blesses those who realize their need for Him. God loved us so much that He sent His only Son to die for us and take the punishment for our sin. All we have to do is have that desire, understand that we can't do it ourselves, and believe that God sent His Son for us. Have you ever accepted that free gift?
Tony Dungy, author of the popular Uncommon book series. More at CoachDungy.com. That's CoachDungy.com.
Your home for Super Bowl 59. WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. Get ready. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
Live and local.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
This thing is going to be a financial and cultural disaster.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Whopper, 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 whopper.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. ESPN Northwest Florida.
What's going on, Northwest Florida? You're now riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, tuned into ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on 104.3 here in Panama City and 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes, along with Caveman Rick, and that will do us. That will do it for us. Hopefully, we'll have Max Delighting on for your minute with Max. Tyler is out sick. Caveman Rick wasn't feeling too great this weekend. James Fife was out this last weekend. It feels like all of Panama City is coming down with something. Caveman Rick had a little bit of a theory about that. Maybe it's because of the snow and people just having to be in such close quarters with each other. But, I mean, there was a lot of people outside during the snow days as well. So, I don't know. Either way, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. You're in the doghouse, and we're the Afternoon Underdogs. So, first off, let me tell you guys about the Holland Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. Reason being, we're going to talk about that a lot today. The contest ends this week, so you need to get the ESPN Northwest Florida app right now. If you don't have the app, go to your Google Play Store or your Apple Store, type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, and hit that enter contest button. This is for 2 passes to watch the Magic take on the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, March 29th. So you're going to have almost 2 full months to prepare for this. You're going to be watching the game from a luxury suite. You're going to get free food during the game, and your hotel is included in the ultimate road trip. And we're going to be taking a busload of sports fanatics to ride the Holland Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. That's brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Holland Hearts, and Fairfield Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and home to Suites. Love our sponsors there. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of the Afternoon Underdogs, my pocketbook could absolutely use it. That would keep me here in Panama City a little bit longer if you guys would start advertising here with the Afternoon Underdogs. You can get a hold of me at 850-215-6290. Caveman Rick?
Hey, about that Holland Hearts basketball game, too. Our own James Fife is supposed to be going on that ride, right?
Yeah, he will be the chaperone, if you will. He'll be the representative of ESPN Northwest Florida. It'll be James Fife and his wife, and should be a great time. I mean,
Fife
you're gonna
and
be,
wife.
Yeah, Fife and wife. You're going to be staying overnight, watching the game from a suite. I mean, if you've never been to an NBA game, this is the perfect time to enter into these sweepstakes. I believe it's going to be a total of 4 winners, which will be a total of 8 tickets, a total of 10 people on the road on the Magic Express, brought to you by Holland Hearts and ESPN Northwest Florida. The Magic did end up falling to the Miami Heat last night. The Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat last night, which makes that Southeast Division just a little bit more complicated as we head down the stretch here in the NBA. I've been reaching out to the play-by-play, the radio play-by-play man for the Orlando Magic, Jake Chapman. Was going to try to get him on the show with us this afternoon, so we'll find. I mean, if he hits me up at some point in time during the show, we're going to go with it, man. I don't have any questions prepared, but we're going to go for it. Things have went a little awry this afternoon, but it doesn't matter. We're the Afternoon Underdogs. We don't need the spread to be in our favor to do the show. We just need to have a microphone cracked open and ready to go.
I like rye, bread, whiskey, whatever. Rye is good.
It doesn't matter. Rye is the apple of my eye, says Caveman Rick. Also today, since things have went a little off the rails, not crazily off the rails, just with that being said, though, we play trivia. We've brought that back into the fold at 4:40, but today I'm going to do it a little bit different. We have a ton of but that boot store gift certificates to give away. Now, here's the key. You can only use one of these at a time, so we're only going to give one away at a time. Only one winner today, but I'm going to run trivia all day long. I've got 50 trivia questions in front of me, all multiple choice. I've got 50 trivia questions in front of me, all multiple choice. So today, if you want to win $25 to not the, but that boot store, you want to get yourself some new boots or a Carhartt jacket or something like that, and you haven't been to that boot store, this is your perfect opportunity. $25. 850-215-6290. I don't have any phone guests lined up outside of your Minute with Max. Hopefully we might get Sam Peoples. We might get Jake Chapman. I don't know how it's going to play out. All I do know is this. If you call the number 850-215-6290, I'll put you on the air. We'll play a little trivia. You'll have an opportunity to win $25 to not the, but that boot store. So that starts right now. Give us a holler and we will put you on the line. 850-215-6290. Let's start off with our local. We'll start and end with the best this afternoon. Yesterday, Kyle Wright and Banji Balmandela texted in to let me know Mariana High School 4-star running back, a guy that we've been talking about all year long, Amari Clemens, has committed to FSU. As a junior, he led Mariana to its first perfect regular season in over half a century. He finished this last season with 2,127 total yards and 37 touchdowns. Absolutely incredible. I mean, and this is, we're talking about a running back who was not in the game for 4 quarters most of the time. Half the time, he wasn't even playing past the first half. So FSU's getting a good one here. 4-star out of Mariana, heading to FSU next year. He was just a junior last year, so he'll be with the Bulldogs again this year, and we'll be keeping our eye on him. And the only thing I think that will keep him away is if he has a better season and money talks a little bit larger somewhere else. That's just something that is the reality of where we're at. But, you know, if you're playing there in Mariana, 45 minutes down the road, playing for such a notable university as FSU, and I think the other thing would be if FSU, which they released their schedule yesterday, we could possibly go over that. They have at maximum, and you would have thought the same thing, I guess, looking at their schedule from last year. But, I mean, Miami, Clemson, Alabama, and Florida. I think, are the only 4 teams, and we don't know what Miami's going to bring to the table. We don't know what Clemson's bringing back Cade Klubnik. We don't even know what Alabama brings to the table. We don't know. Florida brings back DJ Lagway. So there is that. Alabama's going to have a talented roster, but again, they had a talented roster last year. Who knows what they bring to the table? As long as FSU just doesn't crap the bed again, I really do think Amari Clemens is going to be a great running back. You already got Randy Pittman transferring from UCF to Florida State. I think that's a huge move there. Just seeing the local guys on that Florida State University roster. So good stuff there. Happy for Amari Clemens. Happy for Florida State there. And for Florida State fans, you're getting a good one in Amari Clemens. Let's hope that 2025 goes a lot better than what 2024 did. In the 2A, 2 girls weightlifting meet in traditional, it was Arnold with 57 points, Lincoln with 43, and Bay with 41 points. So Arnold takes home the gold there. In Olympic, it was Arnold with 59 points, Lincoln with 54, and Bay with 41. So Arnold, again, taking home the number 1 in Olympic in 2A girls weightlifting. In the individual district champions, we've got in the 101 weight class, Alana Rhodes from Bay. In 129, it was Lily Cobb from Arnold. In the 139 weight class, it was Kennedy McAuliffe out of Arnold. In the 154 weight class, it was Abby Moskella from Arnold as well. In the 183 weight class, it was Tarina Rushing out of Mosley. And then in the unlimited weight class, it was Haley Guthrie out of Bay. And in the Olympic weight class, or in the Olympic, your local individual district champions, it was 101 Alana Rhodes again out of Bay. 129, it was Kaylee out of Arnold. 139, it was Kennedy McAuliffe out of Arnold. 154, it was Abby Moskella out of Arnold. 183, Tarina Rushing out of Mosley. And in unlimited, it was Haley Guthrie out of Bay. In boys high school basketball, Mariana took down Malone 74-66 in overtime. Mosley ekes out a win over Leon 56-54. Paxton beats Graceville by a 3-pointer 45-42. Chipley all over Poplar Springs 59-25. Cottondale takes care of business against Weewaw 72-43. Cantondale, as Scott Richter would say. Florida Coastal Prep beat Walton 50-36, and PSJ and the Tiger Sharks beat Covenant Christian 75-33. In girls high school basketball, Graceville beat Mariana 39-28, and Port St. Joe beat Covenant Christian 60-43. In girls high school soccer, Arnold and Lincoln played to a 0-0 tie, and then Arnold won 7-6 in shootout. And North Bay Haven shut out Sewanee 3-0. We'll get to the rest of the scores going on, or the rest of the games going on this evening after we get on the line with Coach Olds. Coach Olds, what is going on, my man?
Nothing much, man. I'm live between Rutherford High School and Florida High. The girls are playing right now. The boys will be playing in about 2 hours. Like I said, I had some time. Just came to talk to you guys, whether talk about officiating or local sports, whatever you got in mind.
All right. Well, let's start with how the game went for the friendly match between the U.S. men's national team and Costa Rica.
Oh, man. For those listeners who don't know, Rutherford High School had a once-in-a-generation time. I wanted to give the boys our grab something. This is our best record since I've been coaching. I don't coach for a year, but in a decade, this is our best record. This will be our first winning season in over a decade at Rutherford High School. So we had a great bunch of young boys who persevered throughout the year. And I took them down to Orlando to see the U.S. national team. They won 3-0. And after the game, they got to meet the players. A couple of offense got autographs, and great time. And then they paid me back by we beat Swanee 2-1 in the district quarterfinals there. But yes, it was a great time. We missed, as I told my professor, said, here's the problem: we have snow days, but with the school coach now, they are potentially missing another once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So our principal and I talked, and he allowed us to go. We just left a day early, and we had a wonderful time.
That is awesome, Coach. So now you're on to the district semifinals?
Correct. Well, we're playing Florida High in about 2 hours right now.
Oh, there we go. That's going to be exciting, great stuff, and just continued success there with the Rutherford Rams really starting to build the athletic program as a whole all the way back. How do you feel about Javian Elliott going to be the defensive backs coach under Coach Nuke Floyd over there for the Rutherford Rams in 2025?
I'm really excited because that young man is a guy who worked hard. He came in at Florida State as a walk-on, and he just worked hard every day of practice. And he got more reps and got into the NFL by just working hard. And he's an example of a person just working hard and achieving great things. It takes a lot of work, and he's going to do a lot of work for our program. He got to teach our boys how to work hard, I believe. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited as a dad. I have my son Xavier. He's going to be a junior next year at Rutherford, and I got 2 younger sons that's going to be coming up in the program. I'm just really excited there because it's going to up that work ethic that Coach Floyd has started to instill in the boys, and I think the boys are getting hungry forward.
Coach, is there any relation between you and the Jenks Middle High School basketball coach, Roderick Olds?
I kind of know that guy. That is my cousin. His grandfather and my grandfather were brothers, so every family reunion, a lot of times in the summer, we spent a lot of time together. And then when I came to Bay County, of course, he was one of the first people I reached out to. He wasn't quite yet in education, but he was in Bay County a lot. He helped more than me. Then he got into education soon after. Yeah, that's my cousin, and we've been having a lot of great coaching conversations. We don't coach the same sports, but we talk about coaching life together and family life every time we at each other's with family. So, yes, that's my cousin.
Yeah, he was in the building with us. I've chatted with him before when he came in on behalf of a basketball tournament that they had going on. Now he's coaching over there at Jenks and doing great things here for Bay County and middle school basketball and, of course, for football as well. And he was pointing to, we have a poster here in the studio right by one of our refrigerators of Vince Young on the cover of the Madden 2008 cover there. He was like, hey, we should have never got rid of this guy. And then he starts going in to tell me how he played for the Tennessee Titans when Vince Young was the quarterback. He was like, if you ever play that game again, look me up on the roster. I was like, oh man, I'm a huge Titans fan. That's big time stuff there. Yes.
He played a little bit with the Titans. He played overseas. Yeah, he had a great football resume.
That is great stuff, Coach. What kind of officials are we looking for here in the Bay County area? What sports are are having the biggest need of referees or officials?
It's funny. A decade ago, it was hard to become an official because there was so many people that want to do it. But now the prices have went up. But the amount of officials have went down, and I see that across the board. Basketball, there's a need for officials. Softball, there's a big need for officials. Baseball, there's a really big need for officials. Football, volleyball, there's a need. There's a need for anybody. So I just tell people, think about what you enjoyed while you was in high school, and that you want to give back but get paid at the same time. And we can use you at the local rec level. We can use you at the high school level. Even to a certain extent, the junior college level is still searching for officials because people, their jobs, their availability is not what it used to be, and we can use you at every level. And you go, there's a site, becomeanofficial.com for the high school level, or you can just deal with any official, and they will teach you the ropes. That will get you in.
There you go. Well, Coach, thank you so much for chiming in and giving us a holler. And y'all have good – I hope y'all get a W. That's, of course, what we want. But just be safe on the trip over there to Tallahassee, taking on Florida High this evening. And let's go Rutherford Rams.
All right. I want to just give a shout-out to my principal, the district staff. We got a call at 9:30 today that there was not a bus available. And then we quickly got a a lot of people together. We were able to get a charter bus to make this game happen today. So I just want to say thanks to all the people in Bay County who support Bay County yesterday, especially at Rutherford High School. I'll see you later, man.
Absolutely. Coach Olds, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks to everyone who made it possible for them to get a bus. I know Principal Mitchell played softball against him a couple of times, met him at some of our events that we've had here for ESPN Northwest Florida. And if you've been listening to the radio here for any amount of times, you've heard, or for any amount of time, you've heard the voice of Coach Olds and what he's done for this area, just in the community, as an official, as a coach, what he's done for Rutherford, what he's done for his family. Absolutely an amazing human being. We are streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. You can like and share the Facebook feed and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
One more thing about Coach Olds. Don't forget what he did for our country. Military guy.
Absolutely. There you go. You could have waited till I was done with my spill. No, I'm just kidding. No, Coach Olds, thank you for your service, Coach Olds, and for everyone else who has served our country. And, you know, if you have $50 million that you'd like to support or that you'd like to send to Gaza to buy condoms, and that will be you haven't heard about that yet? Oh man, I guess there was an earmark in the budget for $50 million to send to Gaza for condoms, and they were going to use the condoms to make bombs out of them to throw at Israel at that point in time. I don't know about the validity of it because I saw it on Twitter, so I can't verify any of that stuff. I just saw the trendiness of it.
An IED.
I guess
some type of an IED you can make with that. I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it would be.
I thought they gave those away for free, like in high school. Why are we spending $50 million? Yeah, anyways, no.
Yeah, well, that's the difference in the countries. But tonight in high school basketball, boys high school basketball, North Bay Haven is going to be hosting Freeport. North Bay Haven comes in with a record of 7-15, and they will tip tonight at 6:30. Bozeman is 12-7. They're hosting Rocky Bayou Christian, and they will tip tonight at 6:30. Bay is 13-10. They host the Port St. Joe Tiger Sharks, who are 17-4. They tip at 6:30 as well. Covenant Christian, only 2-13, but Coach Guidus knew it was going to be a tough road ahead for them. Bethlehem is 19-2. Covenant host Bethlehem at 6:30. Ponce de Leon 7-12. They host 11-11. Graceville at 6:45. Bluntstown hosting Liberty County at 6:45. Walton hosting Paxton at 6:45. The 13-8 Mosley Dolphins host the 4-17 Rutherford Rams at 7 p.m. South Walton hosting Arnold at 7 p.m. That should be a good one, as South Walton is 14-9. Arnold 14-8. Contandale is hosting 0-17 Vernon at 7 p.m. Sneed's hosting Holmes County, and Tate hosting Niceville at 7 p.m. In girls high school basketball, Sneed's hosting Holmes County, Covenant hosting Bethlehem, Cottondale hosting Vernon, Bluntstown hosting Liberty County, Chipley hosting Mosley, Paxton hosting Rocky Bayou Christian at 6 p.m., Mariana hosting Rutherford at 6 p.m. Rutherford off to a 17-2 start. Just incredulous what they keep on doing year in and year out. A big one between Bay and Arnold, both teams coming in with a record of 7-11, and they will tip tonight at 6:30. So go over there to Arnold at the MAC tonight, 6:30 for that tip. Niceville hosting Navarre, Florala hosting Laurel Hill, and Freeport is hosting Crestview. We'll get to the soccer games a little bit later this afternoon. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's trivia all day. Your chance to win $25 to not the, but that boot store. You can only win one as a contestant this afternoon, and you can only use one at a time there at that boot store. This is the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Keep riding along with us this afternoon. We'll be right back.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The 18-1 Auburn Tigers are on fire. And tomorrow night, Coach Pearl and his number one ranked Tigers are at LSU as they look to dominate the conference bottom feeders. It's Tigers versus Tigers. Tip-off tomorrow at 6, right after the Afternoon Underdogs on your home for college basketball and the Auburn Tigers.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 8 miles per hour coming out of the west-southwest and temps near 61. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and be warm at 52. Partly sunny tomorrow and a high 66. Slight fog in the morning and then some sun Thursday with a temp of 69. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Billburn Kia. The road is yours in 2025. Let Kia take you on New Year adventures and drive away today in a new 2025 Kia from Billburn Kia. Now offering 1.9% APR up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Billburn Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillburnKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sportage with $1,748 per month per 1,000 finance and 60 months. Quality's limited, not to be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billburn Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 2/3/25.
God, guns, and wrestling. It's the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
All right, know your minute with Max this afternoon. Max Delyden is out there doing what he does best, which is helping you out with some loans and whatnot. So if you'd like to get a hold of Max, I'll find him over there on Facebook because he's not a sponsor of this show yet. And at some point in time, Max, we got to make you an advertiser. Bill, if you're listening, come on, help me out. Tim, if you're listening, get Bill on my side over here. 850-215-6290. We're playing trivia until the cows come home this afternoon. I've got 50 NFL questions, some of these very easy. So you'll get on the line. I'll ask you the question, and then if you win, you get $25 to not thee, but that boot store. This is your home for Auburn Tiger basketball, ESPN Northwest Florida. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick, and we are streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Caveman Rick is an avid Philadelphia Eagles fan. What did you think of the NFC Championship game, the big win, the 55-23 win over the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, double nickel. Eagles get the most points scored in the NFC Championship game. And the most rushing touchdowns in a playoff game. Beat that number by 2. Before that, the previous record was 5 rushing touchdowns in one game by a team. So we got 7. Can't complain, really. I mean, it was probably, arguably, maybe the best game the Eagles played all season, start to finish, I would say, perhaps. I mean, got turnovers, interception off of, Jaden Daniels, all of our defenders running to the ball, punching balls out. Guys like Zach Vaughn jumping on balls. Kenneth Gainwell, he did get lost with a concussion. Hopefully he'll be back for the Super Bowl. But then third-string running back Shipley, what's he do? Score a touchdown, baby.
Not even just scored a touchdown. It looked like it was like mini Saquon Barkley out there. I think the Commanders by that point in time had, thrown in the white towel, if you will. How much? All right, so Dan Snyder came out, I believe, the day of the game or the day after the game. And I don't know, again, the validity to this because I didn't click on the link or anything. Right. Sometimes it gets a little scary to click on those links if you don't want to get hacked. But do you think him coming out and saying, I'm actively, openly rooting against the Commanders, obviously it doesn't really play a role, but what do you think of him coming out and saying that, now I hate the fact that the Commanders are doing good?
I like that in a way, I mean, it's kind of him being a bit of a brat or if you will, or whatever.
Yeah, I think using that B word is very nice.
But it could be something else, rhymes with itch. But yeah, when he was there, owned the team, he was a disgrace to the NFL, not only to the league, but his players, people on the staff, front office, what have you. Heck, I don't mind him rooting for us. Only thing is just he's not a good dude. I don't want him on my side of the fence, to be honest. But I could see where he's got some animosity there because he was kind of forced out. People didn't like what he was doing. And so, not a big deal. Back to Saquon real quick. You brought up him. First play from scrimmage.
Yep.
What does he do? Run for 60 yards and a tutty.
And a touchdown. Yeah, that was a fun call to listen to on the radio, too.
So, I mean, just right there.
Because that was a decent return as well from your return man.
Oh, yeah, got to the 40.
Gets you right into, prime position. And the thing is if you're a Eagles fan, the whole question is what is Jalen Hurts with that knee? How is he going to look? And, with the opening touchdown, you didn't really even have to worry about it. Now, and I would say for the most part, from what I saw out of Jalen Hurts, he looked, I wouldn't say 100%, but a good 87% healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he was running the ball. He scored, 3 rushing touchdowns. When he scored one of them, he was doing the gritty.
10 carries for 16 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, that's an insane stat line.
Yeah, it's what was it? Patriots. Noah Gray? Is that who it was? Got 3 touchdowns for 2 yards or something like that in a game, or just something ridiculous, really low yards.
Probably Jerome Bettis.
No, I'm pretty sure it was, his last name was Gray, and I think he played for the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. It was probably about a dozen years ago, maybe, or so. But, it's a crazy stat line when you can, put up numbers like that. But like I said, all in all, man, great game to watch if you're an Eagles fan. Obviously, if you're a Commander fan, not what you want to see. But, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, if you're a Commander fan, how can you be mad? You had 4 wins last season. You got a total of 14 wins this season, regular season and playoffs.
Yeah, no, and that's something that I don't think gets talked a lot about on this show. I'm not saying grand scheme media we just haven't had time. There's been one day to talk about it since the loss for the Commanders. But, if you're a Commanders fan, if you're a Redskins fan, this season was a success all the way through and through. You saw what you have in the future. Now, again, you don't want to see the sophomore slump, if you will. You saw 2 years ago, C.J. Stroud, incredible. Last year, his numbers, or this past season, his numbers kind of slid back a little bit. But the more tape that you put out there, the more opportunities defenses have to know you, if you will, the harder it's going to be extremely successful. But where did the Texans end up at? They ended up into the divisional round of the playoffs, losing to the Chiefs, and you're losing to the Chiefs. It happens all the time to Josh Allen. It happens all the time to Lamar Jackson.
I mean, if they played somebody else, maybe they would have won that game. That's a possibility. So.
You never know, man. What quarterback do you think is going to be the first to get over the hump and get into the Super Bowl? Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen?
I hate to say it, but I mean, as long as Pat Mahomes is playing quarterback, maybe nobody. I heard a good analogy the other day. He's kind of like Michael Jordan, when you had guys like Karl Malone and Patrick Ewing, guys in their prime. He's the champ
blocker, if you will.
Yeah, guys that were in their prime that should have won championships, but they couldn't get over that hump beating Michael Jordan, right? So as long as Jordan was around, those guys were winning. You take Jordan out for one season in between the 2 3-peats. One in between there, was it Atlanta? I can't remember who won in between. But anyway, I mean, opportunity for somebody else to win other than the Bulls, because Jordan,
I don't think it was Atlanta that won in between the Bulls. Let's see, because, I mean, what was that, 90, 91, 92? 90,
so I'm thinking 90.
So that would have been what? Well, it would have been the 95 season, right? 94, 95 season?
Maybe, or something like that. But anyway, I'm not the hugest basketball, aficionado out there, but I would think that's a good analogy, though. As long as Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, he's playing the way he's playing.
I'm going to say that it was not the Hawks, Houston Rockets.
Maybe that's who it was, because I was thinking either like a Olajuwon or who else? I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, it's a good analogy. I think, as long as Pat Mahomes is playing, it's going to be tough for anybody in the AFC. If you're Lamar Jackson, if you're Josh Allen, if you're Joe Burrow, we've seen.
You think that it continues to where, really he is the road? I mean, I think that he could be the speed bump, but I mean, the road. It's already been 7 straight AFC championships at Arrowhead.
It is.
How many Super Bowls has he been in now? 5.
Yeah.
One of those being a loss to the GOAT and Tom Brady. I mean, after this Super Bowl, are we possibly talking about? I think that
he's only 29. He's not even 30 yet.
Right. I mean, this is it's
trust me.
And the fact, well, I think it's kind of fun that everyone complains about it, but they give all the credit to the referees, and they don't give enough credit, in my opinion, to what the Chiefs have built around Patrick Mahomes, especially when you talk about the defensive side. I don't think Spags gets enough credit as the defensive coordinator, and we're witnessing this greatness right now, and that's just normally how it goes in the world of sports, where people they take it for granted, and I get it. It's kind of more fun sometimes to complain about things than it is to just be excited with things. So it was so the Bulls. Let's see, finals. See, I wish that it would give me the winners right here, but looking here, it looks like it was the Houston Rockets winning over the New York Knicks, and then the Rockets won. So Rockets actually won back-to-back in 94 and 95. Rockets beat the Knicks, and then they beat the Magic, and then it was another three-peat by the Chicago Bulls, and then it was pretty much all the West until the Pistons won in 2004. We got Coach Mike McMullen on the line with us. Coach Mike, how's it going?
Hey, going good. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing well. Blessed to be here.
Doing better than I was on Sunday. Ill-wise.
Yeah, well,
I mean, the Eagles were winning.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, I was going to mention something about, sometimes you just come up at the wrong time. You were talking about, the guys, the Ravens quarterback.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, yeah.
Yeah. They're just stuck behind a powerhouse, and I'll equate that to, there was a swimmer, I'm pretty sure he's from Yugoslavia, and I had his name 2 minutes ago. But if you take Michael Phelps out of it, while he was coming up, that dude has 18, 20 gold medals.
Wow.
If you look at most of Michael Phelps' records, the dude that got second in a lot of those races was this cat. And I'm like, so he just came up at the wrong time. Sometimes you're just not going to beat that dude. I'm like what you said is, I don't see, until Patrick Mahomes dies or gets hurt, I don't see anybody beating that kid. He's got that it thing we always hear about.
Yeah, he's got the it factor. And I mean, it goes back to a generation previous when you talk about the quarterback battles. Ben Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning. I mean, how many of these guys were victim of Matt Ryan? Could have had a Super Bowl. He was up 28-3.
Oh, yeah.
And what
happens? Came up against the old TB12.
And that was the Super Bowl for me, because and this is one of the reasons, for me, this is my personal reason why I decided not to, or I kind of came to the conclusion it's dumb to hate on greatness, because for the longest time, I was just like everyone else. I hated the Patriots. I hated Tom Brady. And then it came to a point, not that I didn't necessarily hate them, but it was like, all right, after that 28-3, you can't deny what it is that they're doing. I'm not going to turn around and be some super fan of them, but I am going to acknowledge that what they're doing is something rare and something, that we might not see again. Turns out I was wrong in that aspect, because we're seeing it happen all over again. But after that 28-3 win by Tom Brady and the New England Patriots over the Atlanta Falcons, I was like, man, I'm not betting against Tom Brady no more. I'm done. I'm over that. Well, we're seeing that unfold again with the Kansas City Chiefs, and so hey, I'm gonna go along for the ride. It would be like if we grew up watching Babe Ruth, the Sultan of SWAT. Well, you're going to be a part of that fandom of that. Well, look, now we've got another baseball player in Shohei Ohtani, and while it's fun to put some haterade on him every now and again, you can't deny that what he's doing, 3-time MVP already. I mean, we're in a really good position in the world of sports right now.
Yeah, that's true, but another piece of it is the other half of the recipe is every one of these guys has had not only an elite football player, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, but their coaching, their head coaches are elite. These are Hall of Fame coaches they have. And not just Hall of Fame, that when you go to the Hall of Fame and have to rank them out, they're going to be top 5, top 1 or 2. You know what I mean? So you add that recipe together, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat the freaking Chiefs.
Andy Reid's a good head coach. Coached my Eagles for about a dozen years. Not knocking the guy. I loved him. But he didn't win jack squat without number 15. You know what I mean?
I got you.
He had number 5 most of those years, and D-Mac, with a shady group of wide receivers.
the same thing about the Patriots, but, you know, it's the coach didn't get much done once TB12 left. But I think the combination of them, it just makes them unstoppable.
That's what I think that when we're talking about good to end, you know this just as well. Being a coach, you know that it's not your job is to put that swimmer in the best position that they could possibly be in, or whatever athlete that it is. Your job is to put them in the best position. Then their job is to listen to you as intently as they possibly can, have the work ethic, all of these things. And it takes so. It's like when you're in science class and your teacher, you know, if you miss one of the ingredients or one of the certain things that you have to put into your experiment, then the experiment is going to fail. And it's the same way with championship caliber teams. I mean, you mentioned the three-peats of the Bulls: Phil Jackson, Pat Riley, and his time coaching, Andy Reid now. And sometimes it takes a while for their boots to get off the ground, if you will. And Donovan McNabb, I'm sorry, but he's never going to be in the same conversation as what Patrick Mahomes is, and that was evident from the first year of Patrick Mahomes. And we all love Donovan McNabb, and we all loved it, you know, what the Eagles brought to the table, but they had people in their way as well. And who was it that y'all lost to in the Super Bowl?
Which one?
Well,
we lost in 80 to the Raiders.
Okay,
we lost to the Patriots in like 04.
That's the one I'm talking about.
In 17, and then we just lost 2 years ago.
Yeah, to the Chiefs. So
but
basically,
you know, one thing, all that great coaching. One thing you can't do is the other day I didn't watch too much of that football game with the Kansas City Chiefs, but I watched the last 5 minutes. But that last drive going down to kick the field goal, I can't coach you when Patrick Mahomes flies out to the right, sidearms it to Worthy, just all casual. That's just God-given talent right there, though.
Yeah, no, there are things that you can't coach. You're absolutely right, and every great coach would say that, and that makes you a great coach.
I got a suggestion.
Coach Mike. Well, what's your suggestion, Caveman?
This is what the NFL needs to do to end the Chiefs' winning ways, or maybe this might help. Let's put it that way. We got a bunch of coaching hires, right? Coaching carousel every year. Why doesn't somebody go and woo Steve Spagnuolo, you know? Try to get him to be a head coach. Then Andy Reid loses his defensive guru kind of a guy. Maybe they take a hit, and maybe they take a step or two back. So if you want to hurt them, maybe poach their coordinator.
There you go.
I think Spagnuolo already learned his lesson. He's a great, elite defensive coordinator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think he did that great as a head coach. And
he did it. I believe it was with the Giants.
Yeah, but he's where he needs to be. He's a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'd rather win as a defensive coordinator than getting or a coordinator nonetheless, than getting all the credit myself. But I'm a team player. All right, Coach Mike, thanks so much for the call, my friend, and go Blue.
All right, go Blue.
All right, you guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We haven't got a call for trivia yet, but we'll open it up. I'll read you guys off a question, then hopefully we can keep y'all ringing in. But I did just get an update. We're going to have Sam Kavaris on the line with us to talk a little bit about those NFL coaching hires here to start off hour number 2. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Always great to say hello to our friend Brian Curtis. I'm shocked, disappointed, and depressed reading your piece. Good afternoon. How are you?
Great to talk to you too, Paul. Isn't it funny? Sports journalism, which seems so romantic to those who don't do it, turns out to be standing outside a room and waiting for a man in a suit to come out and tell you that nothing happened inside the room.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 8 miles per hour coming out of the west-southwest and temps near 61. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and be warm at 52. Partly sunny tomorrow and a high 66. Slight fog in the morning and then some sun Thursday with a temp of 69. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
So you've heard the saying that if you love your job, you'll never have to work? Well, it's true.
I've worked for Brock Lawn and Pest Control for many years. The commitment to the needs of customers
and their commitment to each employee makes Brock a company I'm very proud to be a part of.
Brock's core values are also mine. Give people more than they expect and always honor your promises.
This isn't a job. It's a service to help people live a healthier lifestyle.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control. Our family protecting your family.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
But to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
It's the Afternoon Underdogs on the Sports Talk Monster.
You're gonna be mine. Woo!
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We're back. You're right with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We are your official radio home for Super Bowl 59. ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 here in Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. We're going to play a little trivia right here. Which MLB manager's 132nd career game ejection broke the previous record in 2007? Which MLB manager's 132 career game ejection broke the previous record in 2007? It is not Aaron Boone. It is not Aaron Boone. What are you throwing a heart up for?
Never mind. It's somebody I was thinking maybe that's something similar, the name.
No, I don't think it's similar to that. Depending on the person, I guess maybe it possibly could be. But 850-215-6290, we've got $25 to Major Smokehouse for this particular one with a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock and a $10 gift certificate to Golf Plus. 12-pack of Buffalo Rock, $25 to Major Smokehouse, and $10 to Golf Plus. All you got to do is tell me which MLB manager's 132nd career game ejection broke the previous record in 2007. And I've got multiple choice for you as well. Right, State Chris chiming in earlier. It was the Houston Rockets that broke up the Chicago Bulls three-peat. They won 2 years in a row, and then it was back to the Bulls, and then it was the Spurs and the Lakers. And we've got Jeremy on the line with us. Jeremy, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What's going on, my man?
Oh, not too much, man. Just out of the house. Got to work a little while ago.
Hey, there you go, man. You have a good work day this afternoon?
Yeah, it was, man. Can't complain. Can't complain a bit.
There you go. We've been having some nice weather, especially after the temperatures have rose a little bit. All right, which MLB manager had his 132nd career game ejection, breaking the previous record in 2007? Do you want multiple choice? I've got 4 options for you.
I think I got it.
All right, go ahead.
I'm going to go with Bobby Cox, Atlanta Braves.
Correcto mundo. You just won a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock, $25 to Major Smokehouse, and a $10 gift certificate to Golf Plus. Are you an Atlanta Braves fan?
I am.
What's your outlook for the squad this year after they just got done signing Jurickson Profar?
Man, I think if they can stay healthy, we'll make a little run. Last year's injuries beat us up, so... we get Acuna back to what he was before he got hurt. You get Strider back. These guys stay healthy. I think they'll be all right.
Awesome. Great stuff. Well, Jeremy, do me a favor. Hang on the line real quick. Caveman Rick's going to grab some info from you and look forward to meeting you, my man.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. All right, we're still playing trivia. That was for Major Smokehouse and a $10 gift certificate to Golf Plus. I'm trying to give away some That Boot Store this afternoon, so I've got 49 more questions across the world of sports over here right in front of me, all of them having multiple choice that I'm aware of, and I want to give you an opportunity to win $25 to not the, but That Boot Store right here on the air with us. Great stuff there from Jeremy. Do you need Jeremy to call back by chance? Okay, you got him on the line still? All right. Well, Jeremy, if you're still listening, please give us a call back so that Caveman Rick can grab your information, or at least do me a favor and text in, and we will make sure that we hook you up with a great prize package from Major Smokehouse and Golf Plus there, plus a 12-pack of Buffalo Rock. Wrestling Against Cancer 10. It's going to be February 8th at the Bay Haven Charter Academy and the gym over there. Doors are going to open at 5:30. The bell time will ring at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are $12 for adults. There's no more front row. Front row has been bought out. $12 for adults, $8 for ages 6 through 17, 5 and under get in for free. All proceeds go to benefit Ryan Holland and his cancer medical expenses. And we just found out yesterday afternoon that his fiance, the family, we all call her wife, his wife, she was also just diagnosed with cancer as well. So first and foremost, thoughts and prayers there with the Holland and Taylor family as they try to navigate this newfound information. And we would just like to see this building packed out. Bay Haven Charter Academy, let's pack it out for not just Ryan now, but Kristen's as well, as they are a dual household dealing with cancer. And she's been the backbone for the family as he's been going through this, and now they're going to have to go through it together, and it's absolutely tough. So just thoughts and prayers with the family, and I would love to see you guys there at Bay Haven Charter Academy, February 8th for Wrestling Against Cancer 10. It should be it will be a blast. If you haven't been to these events yet, Jack Patterson does such a great job. And then January 30th, which is this Thursday at the Slim Chickens in Callaway, if you go purchase some food there, a portion of that will also go to help Ryan with his medical expenses. We need to raise at least $250 for him to be able to see any of that. So, you know, at the cost of food these days, that's really just about 25 people. I'm counting on you, the listeners, to get out there and check it out. And it's really just 24 because I'll be going over there to get some of that. We do got some Dynasty flag football tonight at Harders Park, so looking forward to that. We're going to have RJ Starcevic on the line with us on Thursday. Excited about that because he just went to the 24 hours at Daytona, the 24-hour race at Daytona, stayed up for all 24 hours of it, which was quite the feat to do, but excited about Daytona and the Daytona 500 February 16th. So we'll be getting back into the swing of things with RJ as we move closer to the season.
Yeah, right on, man. RJ, great guy. So he's doing it Thursday. Is this a new day for him, or is he going to keep doing Mondays?
No, he was too tired.
Oh, okay, right on. Yeah, it makes sense.
He slept in a little bit, and then he moved his shift because he works at Chick-fil-A.
Right.
He moved his shift from the morning shift, which is what he normally works on Mondays, to the evening shift. So I was like, well, if we could do it later in the week, that would work. And so it worked for both of us to have him on Thursday, and then starting next Monday, we're going to get back into the swing of things. Lots of things happening in the world of NASCAR. All right, Caveman Rick, what are we going to do next, my man? On the flip side, we talked about the Eagles and the Commanders. Well, how about the Chiefs and the Bills? That was one of the more interesting games. Now, you brought up the point that might have been the best 4 quarters, 60 minutes of football that the Eagles have played all year. For the Kansas City Chiefs, they hadn't scored 30 points all year, and now they get to the biggest, most pivotal game of the season for them against their nemesis, if you will, in the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people were picking the Bills to win that game, and boom, the Chiefs scored 32 points, and they're moving on to the Super Bowl.
No offense. I don't know if nemesis is a great word for that because, I mean, like, in a nemesis, you think you got to have, like, sometimes they got to win. You know what I mean? They do
in the regular season.
Well, that doesn't matter. The regular season don't matter. You know, we're talking playoffs. So, in that sense, it's like, you know, we used that word, or we didn't use the word earlier. With the B word, it's like what the Buffalo Bills could potentially be to somebody like the Kansas City Chiefs, you know, when you're getting beat up all the time by them. And how about, man, like Josh Allen? If you looked at the press conference after that game,
to be the best, you got to beat the best.
I mean, like, he was so dejected looking. He's got to figure in his mind, like, I'm never going to be able to beat this guy or this team, you know? I'm really curious to see how, like, he bounces back. Not the team, not the Buffalo Bills, but somebody like Josh Allen. Because sooner or later, you know, it's got to get to you. You know, it's got to, like, really get in your head and mess with you big time, you know? To the point now where, like, even if they're up in a game, like in a playoff, say, next season, you got to think that that's going to creep into his mind. and then it's going to fall apart and the wheels are going to come off, you know?
Yeah. Well, if I'm Josh Allen, I'm trying to find my quickest route to the NFC.
No doubt.
It's like, at least I can play Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl,
I'm an
right?
Eagles fan, right? Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, but where do you go? You know, at that point, because just going kind of by the Raiders are possible, and he's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be a Buffalo Bill at least for the remainder of his contract.
For the foreseeable future.
But if I'm Josh Allen, I don't know if I resign in the AFC. What's the point in doing that? You know. Now then again,
depends on what kind of offer you get in the NFC. Though.
Well, there is that as well. But as a quarterback, you're going to have that pride and that ego that I'm going to be able to beat Patrick Mahomes one day. And still, I mean, one of the things that we always talk about across the board, right? In all sports, the best ability is availability, and that's something Patrick Mahomes has had his fair share of injuries, but he's never missed a substantial amount of time. And eventually, just kind of how you called it out at the beginning of the season for the 49ers, like this is going to be their time. Eventually, you think that injury bug is going to rear its ugly head, but if a guy takes good care of himself, I mean, look how long Tom Brady was able to play football for.
Yeah, I mean, eating avocado ice cream, right? Junk like that. Ugh. It's interesting though too. Okay, maybe a lot of people don't know this, and this might have something to do with that Buffalo Kansas City problem with Buffalo winning. You know, Sean McDermott, he came from Andy Reid's coaching tree. He was in Philadelphia. You know what I mean? So Andy Reid knows this guy. He knows his tendencies. You know, so because of that, it's like, you know, the master, or the, you know, going against the prodigal son, or however you want to call it, or whatever. The old guy, you know, the wiser person's usually going to have the edge most of the time.
Yeah. Well, and experience, I think, plays a huge role of that. Wisdom will always play a huge role in that. Kind of, it goes back to your point about Andy Reid, 12 years with the Eagles, not being able to get it done, but pretty much always there in the thick of things when it came to the playoffs.
4 NFC championships in a row.
Exactly. And not being able to get it done, but then he was able to use that experience and come to the AFC. And it's not like it just happened in a flash there with the Chiefs either. You know, you had Alex Smith, you had some success there, but then once Patrick Mahomes really, you know, became his own, and it didn't take very long, Andy Reid was able to use his past experiences into being a better coach, and it really helps when you have coordinators and a team that is built on the premise of winning, and winning in the most important times of the year.
Yeah, insert a different quarterback than Patrick Mahomes, and I seriously think you get some really different results.
I think that's true. I heard, I forget what show it was on. It might have been Greeny. It could have been the Dan Patrick Show. Could have been Colin Cowherd. But if you put Josh Allen on the Chiefs and you put Patrick Mahomes on the Bills, I mean, I don't think that you have the same amount of success for the Chiefs, but I think that you're getting, they have at least 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, you have a better coach, you know, coaching, because you got
coaching
Spags,
in general,
and you have Andy Reid. So yeah, I think I would lean that way. Plus, overall, I mean, the players that Kansas City's been able to get their hands on. I mean, hell, Tyreek Hill left.
Yeah.
After he won, you know?
And everyone thought, oh, that's it.
Yeah,
you know, the
yeah.
Chiefs dynasty is kind of, or the Chiefs not dynasty at that point in time, but getting close to kind of being
and
that.
Look where he's at. He got his bag, and now he's all a malcontent over there in Miami because, you know, didn't make the playoffs and ain't winning.
The Jimmy Butler of the Dolphins, which that's a wild saga.
How about Miami just in general?
I mean, it's wild. They were talking about it on the broadcast, Jake Chapman and the Orlando Magic broadcast last night, you know, how the culture over there in Miami hasn't been so good, and they were hoping that the lack of Jimmy Butler last night was going to play a role, and it did not, because Miami Heat at the house were able to come out with a big win. But I personally, are you excited? Of course you are. You're an Eagles fan. I think that this is there's a lot of people talk about boycotting the Super Bowl because of the bad calls and all of that. And there's always going to be, if you sit there and watch the game and then you go back and watch the game again, and you're not worried about commercials, you're just worried about watching what's happening on the field, there's always going to be missed calls. And take the Chiefs out of the equation, put on whatever game it is that there's going to be missed calls. There's going to be calls that were bad calls. That's just a part of the human nature. And because we live in this perfectionist world that is not even close to perfect, but y'all want it to be, because in some sports you can work it out. But like for all the baseball fans who want perfect balls and strikes, and it's like, the human element is the greatest part of sports. Failure is, it's one thing when it's on purpose bad. It's another thing when it's just, that's the way that that it is.
Yeah, sometimes, but it's like, who was the baseball player that had a no-no going, and then the dude was at it first, but then the dude called him safe, and he lost the no-no, like on the last
Armando Galarraga, right?
Yeah, it's stuff like that, though. You don't want to see that happening.
Yeah, you don't want to see that, and those are ones that you would feel like it could be easily reversed, but it wasn't, and they should go back and absolutely make that. And it wasn't just a no-hitter either, Caveman Rick. That was a perfect game that was tossed away. I believe the umpire was maybe Jim Joyce in that one. Can't remember entirely just off the top of my head, but yeah, those. I mean, I don't know. For me, the human element, especially when you're talking as someone who coaches youth sports and has played rec softball, all of this stuff, and it's like, and these guys aren't professionals. Sure, you want the professionals to be the best of the best, but there is still that human element. I just hate when referees are using their power somewhat like the baseball writers of America use their power to keep Andrew Jones out of the Hall of Fame, or to be the one voter who will not make Ichiro Suzuki a unanimous Hall of Famer, which absolutely does not make a lick of sense.
Yeah, but at the same time, too, Mariano Rivera is the only guy, you know?
Yeah.
And he's a reliever. So, I mean, like, I don't know. There's a laundry list of guys that you could argue they should have been unanimous. And just, we know how, baseball writers are. There's too many people with votes. So, yeah, it sucks. But if you want to fix that, take away a bunch of the votes, give it to really serious people, and then you don't have that problem.
Yeah, I think that's a great point as well. Right State Chris says the Detroit Tigers still gave him a Corvette for the perfect game. Not that makes it any better.
He could have bought his own.
He could have bought his own. That's a great point. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. Coming up next, we're going to have a chat with Sam Kavares talking about some of the coaching hires in the NFL. What in the world are the Dallas Cowboys doing?
ESPN Northwest Florida presents Wrestling Against Cancer 10. Proceeds to help Ryan Holland. Stars to appear Mike Steele, Donnie B, AJ Stokes, Kelly Mann, and exciting women's wrestling with T. Gaines, JC Black, and more. Wrestling Against Cancer 10. Saturday, February 8th at Bay Haven Charter Academy in Panama City. Tickets available at the door. More info at ESPNPC.com.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Tuesday. Partly sunny the rest of the day with a gentle breeze around 8 miles per hour coming out of the west-southwest and temps near 61. Tonight we will have partly cloudy skies and be warm at 52. Partly sunny tomorrow and a high 66. Slight fog in the morning and then some sun Thursday with a temp of 69. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
As a realtor, it's important who you choose as your title company. May we suggest South Oak Title? Their offices are modern, comfortable, and state-of-the-art. South Oak Title can close transactions in any location in Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee. Their free mobile app allows realtors to deliver a net sheet in seconds. They provide mobile closing services to accommodate buyers and sellers. Their offices are beautifully decorated, state-of-the-art, complete, safe, and secure. South Oak Title, creating a better title and closing experience through technology and tailored service. Visit them online at southoaktitle.com.
Your home for Super Bowl 59. WGSX Lynn Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe. Powered by Panama City Toyota. ESPN Northwest Florida.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Hi, this is Orlando Magic guard Jalen Suggs. Listen for select Orlando Magic games right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to my boy David Hayes and the Afternoon Underdogs.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Afternoon Underdogs. This is 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, your spot for select Orlando Magic games. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. Coming up now, we've got Sam Kavaris on the line with us. Make sure that you go check out his website, samsportsline.com. Great stuff there. Latest article on Fred Taylor. And, of course, he is a big-time believer and supporter of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Sam, how's it going, my friend? Thank you so much for coming on with us on short notice.
Not a problem. In fact, I was over in your neck of the woods yesterday. I went over to meet with a buddy of mine who wrote a book in Pensacola, and he asked me to narrate it for Audible. So it's kind of fun. That's been kind of a total departure.
How do you like narrating books?
Yeah, it's my first foray, and it's certainly interesting dealing with the author too, because he's got the author writes it a certain way, he hears it in his head a certain way, and then as the reader, we create our own worlds and we read it a certain way. So, to collaborate with him has really been a great process. And he's a longtime friend, and it's a book about naval aviation. And I've been a pilot for 25 years, thanks to him. In fact, he really encouraged me to do that. And, he's got more than 1,000 traps on carriers, and he's in the Pensacola Hall of Fame over there in the Naval Aviation Museum. So, he's very well versed, very well respected in that field. So it's been fun. This is, I think, the 5th book he's written. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that's amazing. And to find out you're a pilot, but you're also a singer and musician. And with that, you know how it is to hear something, to play something a certain way, and then wanting it, when you're recording it, to be heard a certain way. So did that help you in your narration and the conversations with the author?
Very much so. And, when you're, you can sing lyrics or you can sing a song, and that's kind of the difference. And if you listen to, like, the master of that was Sinatra, and phrasing and how he sang, and he sang songs. He didn't sing lyrics. So it was it certainly has been that. And, I can tell you that the book is 478 pages, so I'm pretty sick and tired of my own voice, I can tell you that.
I'll tell you, Sam, very much reminiscent to me of Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, a guy that's the lead singer for the band, but he's also the pilot of their jet that they travel all around the world, Ed Force One. So that's pretty cool. You got all that stuff going for you.
He sure is. There's a couple of guys out there, a couple of golfers, and hate to be a name dropper, but it used to be my job. Arnold Palmer is probably the guy that encouraged me the most to become a pilot. So,
wow.
I knew Arnold pretty well because, living over here, and his design company was here, and his house was in Orlando. So he was here all the time. His partner, Ed C., was here in Ponte Vedra. So, I got to know him very well. And he was somebody who, really encouraged me to do that after I showed an interest in it. And I was now forever thankful.
Outstanding.
Well, Sam, let me ask you this then. When it comes to you being a golfer and having, friendships like Arnold Palmer, that's amazing. Did you ever have an Arnold Palmer with Arnold Palmer?
Actually, yes.
How about that?
Pretty cool.
And he looked at me and he went, you have no idea how much money I'm making off of this. But that's the kind of guy he was, he's just a regular guy, he would look at it, he'd just be amazed. He goes, you have no idea how much money I'm making off.
That is amazing. Have you got an opportunity to watch any of the TGL, Tomorrow's Golf League? Yesterday was my first time actually being able to sit down and watch a whole episode or a whole outing of it.
Last night's the first one that I missed, actually. I watched the first two. And, it's certainly an interesting concept. If you really think about it, they're trying to take almost a basketball field in an arena and put golf there. And it's one of the things that makes golf unique is it's played on such a vast kind of playing field, right? But they're trying to do something totally different. The one, and I like the players, I like the interaction, I like the whole concept. From a television production standpoint, which, as you know, was my main career for a long time, they haven't figured that out yet. They're working the kinks out. And it may take them a whole year to do that, and a bunch of debriefs to kind of look back at the shows and say, yeah, it was okay, but we could have done this better. This shot's better here, and I think those guys are just working it out. But I think the concept's got some legs. I mean, I particularly with Tiger and Rory at the top of the masthead every time. That's pretty strong.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of it last night. And again, I know that I'm not the exact person that they made it for, because I really do enjoy watching regular golf, especially when it comes to the majors on TV. I think that just the sereneness of it all is, and the beauty of the courses is something that I tune in for. So with it being virtual golf, it kind of throws me off a little bit. I like
courses with lava.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of one of the cool things to me is the video game feel that they bring to it. Caveman Rick was yesterday brought up the fact that they don't have any wind, or at least any visual of wind.
Yeah,
like you don't know if there is any wind, if they're dealing with that. And of course, in the sport of golf, that's a huge factor in the real life game of golf. But the more that I watched it, I was closer to saying I don't know if I'm going to tune in much more to this. But I do think that it adds in, just kind of like how baseball with what Rob Manfred has been doing with, I hate the ghost runner and extra innings, but just making the game more fast-paced has brought in a younger demographic, and I think that is one of the bigger goals here of the TGL, is to add another layer. There's people who only play Topgolf and have never been to a real golf course, and I think that it adds that element there for them.
You're exactly right, and don't forget the way that they're filling a space in the week, too.
Yeah.
And I don't understand kind of why the LPGA or the senior tour has never kind of moved to a different part of the week, because, particularly the LPGA, I think, which has fabulous competition and some real good storylines, and, just a lot of beautiful golf courses again. And, actually the length that the women hit it is more akin to what even good amateurs, regular amateurs hit it, as opposed to watching guys bomb it out there, as Rory does, 378 on a par 4. But, if they were on the air, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like that, this thing's on Tuesday nights. That's why people are watching it. There's no other sports on Tuesday. You can tune into a hockey game. Maybe the Magic are playing, but, they set it up. It's a Tuesday night thing, and they're trying to make it appointment television.
You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. We're on the line right now with Sam Kavar. Sam, you just brought up the Orlando Magic last night. They fell to the Miami Heat. What do you make of the Jimmy Butler saga? Third suspension in the same month, basically all boiling down to trade talks, or saying that he wanted to trade, him and Pat Riley not seeing eye to eye, all of that good stuff, missing the team flight, gets suspended for a few more games, then he gets suspended for 2 games after the 7-game suspension, and then last night walks out of the shoot-around after being told that he's not going to be a starter anymore, has been suspended indefinitely. Who gets the blame here? Is this all on Jimmy Butler? Is it somewhat on the front office of the Miami Heat? What do you think with all of your experience and wisdom in the world of sports?
Well, I wouldn't say that. But
I would say it. I'll say it for you.
I can tell you this, and I don't want to be the get off my lawn guy either, but hey, you're a player on a team. It's a team, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things you're supposed to do. In fact, I brought this up in the Hall of Fame meeting in recent years. When we were talking about guys like Terrell Owens or Charles Haley, right? If we're going to sit around and pontificate how football is the greatest team sport, then isn't what kind of teammate you're going to be? You are part of the equation, right? And so you can make an argument on either side of that. But, basketball, yes, 1 or 2 guys can completely take over a game. But I just think that a lot of guys lose sight of where they fit into the grand picture. If Jimmy Butler stopped playing basketball tomorrow, okay, it would be headlines, and then he'd be gone. All right? Nobody would talk. We'd move on. We talk about how LeBron's 40 and still playing at a high level. We talk about how Victor Wembanyama continues to, bring the game internationally. And, the game would move on. Jimmy Butler would just be a footnote on what, gee, did you see in the 24-25 season Jimmy Butler quit playing? Oh, yeah. Yep. And move on. And I just think that there's a concept there that is lost on some players. And I'm not one of those guys that says, "Oh, the modern day player, they never had to walk up hill in the snow every day both ways." But I do think that there are some guys, and there are guys in my generation and then the generation before mine who are the same way. And I just think that eventually the public grows tired of that, no matter how talented they are, and they can just move on, and the public moves on, because there are plenty other great players in so many sports with great storylines that you can follow. And is Pat Riley 100% right? Probably not, because he is Pat Riley. I mean, he's got his own ego. He's got a team to run. But at the same time, it just seems to me that Jimmy Butler doesn't quite understand how he fits into the grand pantheon of sports. And right now to him, it's his world, and that world may be in Phoenix soon, right?
Yeah. Especially with the colorways on his shoes.
Yeah.
I think for me it would be a little bit it would be a lot of bit different, if you will, if this was maybe the first or second go round of hearing about dramatic things within the locker room of an NBA team, of an NBA franchise with Jimmy Butler. But the fact that it's happened basically on every single team, be it the Bulls, be it the Timberwolves, be it the Heat now,
the Sixers,
and the Sixers as well. I mean, everywhere that he's gone, there's been something, and so this has become more of a trend than a standalone issue. And so, yes, of course, I think that you're right that maybe Pat Riley's not, his hands aren't completely clean in this, but I think a lot of it has to do with Jimmy Butler and not being a part of a team, because one of the things that Brian Snicker used to say to Ronald Acuna Jr., or players in general on the Atlanta Braves, is it's about the name on the front of the jersey and not the name on the back of the jersey. And I think sometimes players get wrapped up into that, and it's kind of hard not to when everyone in your social media world and everyone in your family and everyone who's not a part of the organization that you're working for is all about the name on the back of the jersey rather than what's on the front there.
Yeah, but you can't fault Pat Riley, man. He's like the godfather of basketball now that Jerry West is gone, you know what I mean? It's like, that's the dude. I mean, if you want to win, he'll call you in his office. He'll dump the rings out on his desk, and that's all. Enough said. Mic drop. I wouldn't go wrong with anything Pat Riley says.
Remember, Terrell Owens got thrown off 5 teams in the NFL, and we put him in the Hall of Fame. So,
yeah.
I mean, and there were 5 teams that literally got rid of him. We can't stand this guy another second. Get him out of here.
And there you go. Sam Kavaris on the line with the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Sam, what in the world are the Dallas Cowboys doing? We've already, I don't know if we chatted about the Dallas Cowboys hire, but they hired Brian Schottenheimer. Now they've hired Matt Eberflus. They got the defensive coordinator from the San Francisco 49ers, brought him in to be the special teams coordinator. Just, it seems like a bunch of failed coaches right now, and not taking anything away from Brian Schottenheimer. That could work. It could not work, but he wasn't even the play caller as the offensive coordinator. What do you think about this hire, these moves made by the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones?
Every time I see Brian Schottenheimer, I see him standing next to Steve Spurrier at Florida Field.
Okay.
Right? Because he specifically went to Florida, knowing he wasn't going to play, but he specifically went there to suit up and be able to stand next to Spurrier during games and watch how Steve called a game and watch how he did that. And, of course, from there, he went on to get a variety of different jobs in the NFL. And for the last 10 years, he's been an offensive coordinator. To me, the interesting thing about this is that, who sets the tone of that organization? Well, it's obviously Jerry Jones, right? It's not the head coach. Jerry Jones is the front-facing tone setter of the organization, and you need a coach there who is an organizer and an innovator, and he doesn't necessarily have to be the guy that sets the culture. Dallas Cowboys have a culture if Jerry Jones is the one who's going to set it. So I'm not too worried about that. And I tell you what, the 2 assistants that they've hired, I mean, those guys have a tremendous track record. And there are some guys, and Eberflus might be one of those guys, who are just destined to be a lifelong assistant.
Like Spags for the Chiefs.
I mean, Gus Bradley. Yeah. I mean, who's one of the finest people I've ever met. I mean, literally, he is just a wonderful guy. And he and I had numerous differences of opinion about what he was trying to do here. which at the time he was trying to empower the players with kind of policing their own ranks and getting things done. And I kept telling him, this team's not mature enough to do that. And eventually they proved not to be. But, Gus Bradley is a phenomenal football mind, great defensive mind, wonderful guy who maybe is not best suited to be a head coach. It's hard to say. Eberflus, he didn't look like he had this giant sparkling personality up in Chicago, did he?
No, sir.
You felt like he was always apologizing, right, while he was up there. And then he would do things. He would do things during the game, and you'd go, I mean, did he mean to do that? or did it just kind of happen, So
I love what Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys are doing. If Jerry Jones was here, I'd shake his hand. I'd give him a hug. I'd even kiss the guy on the cheek. Let me tell you. Because you know what? That team's not going anywhere. And as me being an Eagles fan, I've said this once, I've said it 1,000 times. As long as Jerry Jones is alive, as long as he's at the head of that team and he's leading that team, I got nothing to worry about.
By the way, do you guys watch Landman?
No, sir.
I have not. That's the new one with Billy Bob Thornton, right?
Billy Bob Thornton. Okay, so Billy Bob Thornton, basically, I don't think really even acts. The character is so fantastic, and he's so good in it. You got to say to yourself, he's not acting. That's just how he is, right? That's just the guy that he is. And the whole thing was written by Taylor Sheridan. There is a scene, and just pull it up on YouTube, where Jerry Jones is sitting at the foot of the bed where John Hamm is in the hospital. And I'm telling you, it is one of the finest acting jobs for about 2.5 minutes that you'll ever see. And the reason is because Jerry Jones is sitting there literally telling his own life story. And it's just, I mean, I was captivated by it, and I know him a bit, because of my previous career, but and see him at NFL meetings and so forth. But just absolutely watch that and take that in. I mean, he may win an award for that. I swear, it's that good.
Yeah, that's what I just typed it into Google, and someone said, "Give Jerry Jones give Jerry Jones a Emmy for his spot in Landman." We'll try to take a little time here during the break and check that out. I've seen a couple of clips about it, but I haven't actually taken the time to watch it. Chip Kelly, there's a little interest there from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do you think Chip Kelly is the right man for the OC position for Liam Cohen as he starts his tenure as the Jaguars head coach?
Probably not, because remember, I mean, Liam Cohen, one of the very first things he was asked is, are you going to call the plays? And he said, absolutely, I'm calling football plays. And so he is going to be the de facto offensive coordinator, right? I mean, you know that. And in fact, he will have a lot of influence in the quarterback room, too, because he played quarterback at UMass. So, and he's been a quarterback's coach. So, Chip Kelly's got his own ideas about how things should go and what should happen. You need an offensive coordinator with, kind of less of a resume and more of a kind of an ethereal idea about offensive schemes and concepts. It's going to be on offense. It's going to be the Liam Cohen show.
More like a consultant.
Maybe, right? I mean, maybe that's where you get, and maybe you take somebody who's been a quarterback's coach, and had he not taken the job with Aaron Glenn in New York, and Mark Brunell, I thought would have been the perfect guy to give him his first offensive coordinator's job and let him work with Trevor Lawrence and have him, But that's what they need. Somebody
that's been the trend now of former players.
That's right. So get somebody who's a quarterback whisperer, who doesn't care about the spotlight, who's had the spotlight, who wants to come in, who wants to see Trevor be great, and wants to see the team win and let Liam Cohen take all the credit. I think that's kind of what they're looking for.
And over to Las Vegas, they've made the hire official with Pete Carroll. Is Russell Wilson, if the Steelers don't retain Russell Wilson, do you think that he would be a good fit with Pete Carroll as their relationship kind of dwindled near the tail end of the career, of his time, rather, with the Seattle Seahawks? Do you think Russell Wilson would be a good fit with Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, and the Las Vegas Raiders?
I don't. I think that relationship is over. And if it had continued to flourish, Russell Wilson would have never left.
Yeah.
He'd still be a Seahawk. But Pete Carroll's an interesting hire because he's easily the oldest coach in the league, and goes in there with a track record of being able to make things right almost immediately. I read this. You guys might have read this story about him the other day. He is such a detail-oriented guy that when Dan Quinn was his defensive coordinator up there in Seattle, they used to have a meeting on Thursdays after practice with the defense, specifically, and they cut up plays of their opponent on how different guys, receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, carry the football and how we're going to get that out. Not, here's the punch we use, whatever. No, this guy carries it here, so this is where we're attacking it over there. And it's that kind of thing that players react to. They're like, this guy's really coaching me up. He's going to make me better, which is what players really want, because in the end that makes them more money. And so I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders got good quickly, and maybe not for long, but it wouldn't surprise me if he took that culture. And I don't know if you've seen where he's taken a bunch of paintings and stuff down in the Raiders facility. He's like, hey, we got to respect our past, but we got to move on to the future here.
I think that's the best hire so far, just because of his track record. He's a guy that has instant credibility right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Well, Sam, we are out of time. And again, thank you so much for coming on with us on short notice and really helping out the Afternoon Underdogs. We appreciate you and all the knowledge that you bring to the table, and we look forward to chatting with you soon. Anytime.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Sam Kavaris, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you go check out the website, samsportsline.com. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick time out. We'll be right back in a jiff.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Jesselyn, I'm looking at your snowman picture right now. Are those twins?
They are.
Adorable. Well, congratulations. You just won the best snowman competition.
Oh, thank you.
Have you been enjoying the snow?
I have been. We've been out just about as much as we can tolerate.
Well, you guys scored a gift card to Major Smokehouse and That Boot Store.
All right.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday evening. As we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low of 52 with a light breeze coming out of the northwest around 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, some sun and a temp near 63. In the afternoon and evening, partly cloudy and a high around 66. For Thursday, slight fog and a high of 69. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Golf is a game that should be fun, but to have the most fun, you need to play your best. That's where the experts at Golf Plus come in. Their friendly staff will guide you through the buying process, answer all your questions, and can help with any repairs you need along the way. Golf Plus is your custom fitting, club repair, and golf retail shop. Golf Plus staff is non-commissioned and will work with you to find the best product for your game, just like they've been doing since 1988. Golf Plus in Dothan and Panama City Beach. Fitting, repair, retail. That's Golf Plus.
Hello?
Honey, my radio is making this loud squeaking noise when I'm stopping my car. I really think I might need new speakers.
Oh, why don't you try turning down the radio, hon?
It just got worse.
Maybe we should take it down to Alford Tire and Service Center, and maybe they can figure out what's going on. At Alford Tire and Service Center, we provide peace and quiet with the radio off. So if your car is making a strange noise, come and see us for your free visual safety inspection today. Located on Tyndall Parkway in beautiful Callaway, we do it all at Alford Tire and Service Center.
Eat, sleep, game. This is your sports obsession. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back with the Afternoon Underdogs. Want to tell you guys about the Hall & Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. You can win 2 tickets to watch the Orlando Magic host the Sacramento Kings on Saturday, March 29th. You'll watch that game from a luxury suite. You're going to get free food during the game, and your hotel is included in the ultimate road trip. We're going to take a busload of sports fanatics to ride the Hall & Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. To enter, open up the ESPN Northwest Florida app and crush the Enter Contest button. That's brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hall & Hearts and Fairfield. Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive and by Home to Suites. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick, and we are the Afternoon Underdogs. This is 104.3 in Panama City, ESPN Northwest Florida. Also on 101.9 in Port St. Joe. Now let's go talk to a Tiger. LSU Jeff on the line with us. What's going on, my friend?
Not much. I heard y'all say it yesterday and today about boycotting the NFL. It's just a mention, I know.
I'm not boycotting. I'm talking about the people on social media saying that they're not going to watch the Super Bowl, which is crazy because you know they're going to be posting about what they're watching when they're watching the Super Bowl.
So I told a couple of days ago when the when the AFC Championship was over with, I told a buddy of mine, I said, I always talk about not watching the Super Bowl. Guess what I'm doing? I'm watching the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Even though I might not like the teams or it's a repeater or whatever, but I would rather boycott Roger Goodell than boycott the NFL.
How do you go about boycott? Because I would like to boycott Rob Manfred, but I can't because he's the commissioner of a sport that I watch.
got a problem with people wanting to boycott or not liking the commissioners. I mean, they're the voice of the NFL owners or the MLB, NHL, whatever. That's the voice, the face of the owners. So, he's doing their bidding. You know what I mean? So if you don't like what he's doing, you just don't like what the ownership in the NFL, the big-time owners, the ones that have the most influence, like in the NFL, it'd be like the Maras, the Rooneys, Jerry Jones, those people of that kind of ilk. And so if you don't like what they're doing, you're basically saying you don't like most of the owners or you don't like what they're bringing to the table.
Which, I mean, it's fair, right?
You're right. You're right. I don't like what the owners, because they're not men of the people for the most part.
They're not. They're the elitists. They're the ones at the top.
Yeah.
Top 1%, man, billionaires.
I mean, shoot, the top 1%, you can even get into the 100,000s and people are still in the top 1% at that point in time. But we're down here in the bottom 99%. So who do you got in the Super Bowl? We still, obviously, we got plenty of time to talk about it. But obviously, I think all of us are rooting for the Eagles. Do you think that the Eagles really have a chance in this game? I do. I think that they've got one of the greatest offensive and defensive lines in the league this year. And I think that the way that they run the ball, could control the tempo of the game. But if it's close late in the game, I think the Chiefs win.
Yeah, but I think that the Eagles are going to win this game. I think that the Eagles need to pull away in that first half, and I don't care that the Chiefs have come back so many times and everything, but I really think this is the Eagles' year. I think it is.
We have to win, and this is my stance on that. I don't want my Philadelphia Eagles to bookend the Kansas City Chiefs three-peat.
I do.
So this is why the Eagles need to step up, and they just need to knock this dynasty or this so-called dynasty back to its knees. You know what I'm saying? And back to reality. I want to see. I mean, we put a double nickel on the Commanders. I'd love to see a double nickel on the Chiefs.
That would have to be one of the most amount of points scored in the Super Bowl, right? I know that what was it?
Well, Eagles and Patriots was a lot of points and a lot of yards.
Yeah, no doubt. But I mean, if Philly puts up 55, I mean, the Chiefs just now got over 30 for the first time this year.
We just put up 7 rushing touchdowns and set a record there, man, in one game.
No, more rushing touchdowns than the Cowboys had all year long. What's been the most head-scratching hire for you, LSU Jeff, in the NFL when it comes to head coaching hires?
Cowboys.
Yeah, I guess. All right, give me the second most head-scratching, because that's a softball right there.
Oh, God. Did the Bears pick a coach?
Yeah, they got Ben Johnson. He was the offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions.
Yeah. I'm not knocking that. Well, the Saints haven't picked one, so there you go.
They're trying to poach our guy. They want to snatch up Kellen Moore, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I don't think Kellen Moore's going to take that.
I wouldn't.
There's probably a 40-50% chance it's going to be Kellen Moore. A good chance.
All right, 40%. But if
I don't think Joe Brady's happening. I don't see it.
If I'm Joe Brady, if I'm Kellen Moore, I stay with the Eagles for one more year.
No
but if you win
doubt.
the Super Bowl, it does make sense while the iron is hot to go ahead and strike. But I mean, with the Saints' job is the most unattractive job out of them all, and I know that the Cowboys looked unattractive, but they are minus $65 million. The Cowboys are not in cap. They're not in a good cap space. They got to clear, I think it's $3 to $5 million by the time, like within the next month or so. But the Saints are in a place where they can't even do that. They don't even know like what's the reality of Derek Carr wanting to sign on long term, wanting to be the long term quarterback of the Saints. I mean, that's just such a tough job to sell right now.
Kamara's getting old.
Yep. He's got his windows closing, and then they've signed him to additional years, but I don't know. I mean, they have good wide receivers. The Saints have a lot to add, and then the worst part is really salary cap.
You're going to have to find somebody for the Saints that's like would do anything for their first head coaching job. You know what I mean? Somebody, just take a dumpster fire and try to do something with it because, in the NFL, it's like, or just coaching in general, it's one of those jobs that you can just get paid a lot just on potential. You don't even have to succeed because it's guaranteed money. You can fall flat on your face, and guess what? You're still taking those checks to the bank.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about what you all talking about earlier. Josh Allen, if he left the Bills, I'm going to just throw 2 names out there, and then I'll tell you why I don't think he should go to the AFC West is because they have so many coaches.
Yeah, you don't want to go to where you're playing Patrick Mahomes twice a year now.
Yes. I know. And you know what? I think that Reed's going to retire in a year or two. But, I mean, you have Pete Carroll, Harbaugh, and who's the third one?
Sean Payton.
Yeah, Sean Payton. You have 3 Hall of Fame coaches in the same division. Don't go there. So I'm going to tell you 2 teams. 49ers, because Purdy's not re-signed, right?
He's not re-signed as of yet, but I think that could be coming this offseason.
And so if Josh Allen goes to the 49ers, that's a possibility of having a good franchise to work for.
That's actually
and the other
really good.
The other one, you're going to love this one, is the Titans.
Oh, yeah, he ain't doing that, though. He knows he doesn't want to die. I would love to see that. But, the one that I really do like is San Francisco. I do like that, but my issue with that, CMC, I think he's really coming real close abruptly to the end of his career there. I mean, both of his Achilles tendons were messed up, and I think that's such a hard thing to come back from. True. He came back, he was injured, within 2 or 3 games. The 49ers running back room was just in pieces this year. My question would be is the 49ers don't pay their quarterbacks. So that's what, would Kyle Shanahan be like, this is, and how beautiful would a guy like Josh Allen be in that system? They love to run the ball. I think that would be perfect for Kyle Shanahan to get a truly mobile quarterback for the running system that they provide. And we've seen every quarterback have some tinge of success. I think that the 49ers with Josh Allen would be dangerous up until they get a nice lead in the 4th quarter and say, you know what, instead of running the ball like we have all year long, let's start throwing it and turning the ball over.
Yep.
But I love that, man. I for the Tennessee Titans aspect of it, though, that's the one that makes it it makes it tough to believe in that. The window closed for us on the Super Bowl, and then every window and every nook and cranny has been closing along the way, all the way up to a number 1 pick, which some people might look at as a positive. I say this is one of those drafts where it's time to just move on out, because if you're saying that Travis Hunter is because he's kind of moved up into the mocks as being that number 1 pick, or is it Cam Ward, or is it Shadur Sanders? I just, with all 3 of those guys, with Travis Hunter, you don't know what position he's going to play. Is it going to be wide receiver or cornerback? Well, we can't trust in that, so you're not that generationally talented. I mean, you're talented, but what are you going to be, and what do the Titans need more of? Do they need that number 2, number 3 wide receiver? I think so, right? We don't know if we're going to have Nick Westbrook, Akine back. Calvin Ridley definitely could have a number 2. Treylon Burks, A.J. Brown. Since that trade, A.J. Brown has got more Super Bowl appearances than Treylon Burks has touchdowns, which is asinine. That's a crazy stat. When you go to Shadur and Cam, I can't tell you which one of those guys is 1A and 1B, and so there's enough right there that says there's not a quarterback who stands above the rest at that point in time. So I think it's a dangerous game. LSU, Jeff, anything else that you'd like to talk about before we move on here?
Why can't Travis Hunter be like a Deion Sanders and do returns and do defense?
I think that he could. It's just it's the will it actually work? You can have that in theory, but
the right team has to draft them.
The right, and that's the other thing is, I mean, I don't know. Will Brian Callahan use him as that? Would he be better as a wide receiver and also a return man and then playing defensive back in certain situations? Would he be better as a defensive back and then a return man and then maybe every now and again? Like, yes, there is that option that he could be that. But the thing is in college football and you're seeing him log all those snaps, that's one thing. It will not happen like that in the NFL, logging that many snaps. And that's what made him so special in the NFL. It could still very well be special, but it's going to have to be used at a much lower rate because the energy that you're going to have to be. There's some plays in college football where you can kind of take off a little bit because you know who's standing across you and you know how much better you are than him. In the NFL, there's not that. There isn't being that much better than anyone else because the margin of talent difference is minimal at best, and that's putting it nicely.
Yeah. One parting thought. Jimmy Butler hates management, and it's not about the team. It's that they really made him mad, and he just wants out.
I agree 100% with that. I don't think that he hates the Heat at all. I think that he hates the management, as you've said, and they haven't really done a whole lot to put people around him in the terms of having long-term success or getting over the hump, and which is hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy. So, yeah, and I think that he's had issues with the front office, and I think that with the NBA, and you're talking about 12 guys being on a team, a lot of these superstars talk with each other and want to, get on the same teams, and I think he's trying to force his way to the Suns. But if I'm Pat Riley, and I'm the Heat, I'm not putting him, I'm not sending him to the place that he wants to go if he's going to be up front and out in front in the media saying what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, LSU Jeff, as always, it was fun chatting with you, my man.
Yeah, we're going to have to do the draft in April.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we can get back over there to St. Andy's. I need to reach out to them and see if they want to do some Brave sponsorships with us this year. LSU Jeff, I'll keep you updated on the draft, though, my man. Thanks so much for the call.
Bye. Thanks, bye.
Absolutely. Angie says, let's go Eagles. We wore our Eagles jerseys on the plane yesterday from D.C. to P.C. Glad you made it back safely and are having a good flight. Caveman Rick, let's go ahead and do this. Take a break. Max texted me and said that he is good to go to call in, so we'll have your minute with Max just a little bit later, and we'll wrap the show up with Max Delighten. LSU Jeff, thanks so much for the call. Thank you to everyone who's called in. Coach Olds, Coach Mike, Sam Kavaris, and now LSU Jeff, and shortly we'll have Max Delighten on the line with us. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
Three-pointer. College basketball is back.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
The SEC, ACC, and beyond.
Oh, you saw that coming, Rampant.
The biggest games play right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Tuesday evening. As we head into tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low of 52 with a light breeze coming out of the northwest around 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow morning, some sun and a temp near 63. In the afternoon and evening, partly cloudy and a high around 66. For Thursday, slight fog and a high of 69. This weather forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for tuning into ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Olivia here, and right now is the right time to put yourself in a brand new Toyota, where you can get 3.99% APR on the stylish and affordable RAV4, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.99% on the bold Tacoma, plus 90 days until you make your first payment. Or get 2.99% on the hardworking 2025 Tundra. We've got the perfect Toyota for you, right here at Panama City Toyota.
Offer ends February 3rd. For details, visit PanamaCityToyota.com. Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay-down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
From the diamond to the end zone, from the studio to the sideline, we're the destination for sports on the Gulf Coast. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Welcome back into the Doghouse. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with Caveman Rick. This is your last week for the Holland Hearts ESPN Northwest Florida Magic Express. We're trying to give you guys 2 tickets to see the Magic take on the Sacramento Kings from a luxury suite with free food and your hotel included. All you got to do is open up the ESPN Northwest Florida app and crush the Enter Contest button. That's brought to you by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Holland Hearts, and Fairfield. Hampton Inn on Thomas Drive, and by Home 2 Suites. In the world of local sports, we talked about basketball earlier in girls and girls and boys high school basketball. We'll have Banji Bombadella on with us tomorrow to talk about things here in the midweek of how things have been going across the board in high school sports. But in boys high school soccer, North Bay Haven is currently underway against Gadsden County over there at North Bay Haven. FSU High School is hosting Rutherford, as Coach Olds told us earlier. Arnold is hosting Leon tonight at 7 p.m. And then Niceville is hosting Milton. In girls high school soccer, Florida State University High School is hosting Rutherford. Niceville is hosting Pace. Taylor County is hosting the Tiger Sharks of Port St. Joe. McClay is hosting Mariana. South Walton hosting Freeport. Wakulla is hosting Bay. Leon hosting Mosley. St. John Paul II hosting Rocky Bayou Christian. And then Childs is hosting Arnold tonight at 7 p.m. Up next, it is Max DeLyden for your Minute with Max. Max, my man, what's going on? Thank you for making some time for us this afternoon.
Dave, I'm sorry. I've been out and about today. I apologize.
Bro, no sorry, no apologies needed. You know how it goes. Work comes first, my friend, and we know that you are a busy, busy man. If anything, we could be mad at Tyler together, right? No, I'm just kidding. Tyler's under the weather.
Let's beat his sick butt up.
There we go. Max DeLyden, ladies and gentlemen. We've already talked a little bit about the Jimmy Butler saga and everything that's going on with his 3rd suspension this month. Do you have any thoughts to relay, as he was once a member of your Chicago Bulls?
Yeah, he was awesome on the Bulls. We did him wrong. I mean, bad ownership, so I don't blame him on that one. This Heat one's a little more confusing. It's kind of frustrating, too, when you're getting paid $50 million and the guy's kind of being a huge diva about everything. You know, all that being said, it's how the NBA is now. And I don't know if you saw, did you see Darren Fox is on the block now, too?
Yeah, what are the Kings doing?
I have no idea. They've kind of turned it around since they fired Mike Brown, too, which everyone was freaking out about. But I don't know. Mike Brown kind of got knighted very quickly. But you're always going to have that happen when it's, when people bring race into talking about coaches and stuff. I mean, I kind of hate that, too, because one of the longest tenured coaches in all of the major 4 sports is Mike Tomlin. And, we never talk about that. Marcus Freeman shut it down. Like, I wish they didn't bring that into the equation. Like, hire the best guy. Who cares?
Yeah.
But
great
he wasn't winning. And when you think of San Francisco, you don't think, oh, yeah. Or San Francisco. Sorry, I'm scrambled today. Sacramento. You don't think oh, yeah.
Well, you think of the Sacramento Athletics.
Hey, maybe Pat Riley's been talking to the Kings, and he's willing to make a move, send Jimmy Butler that way or something.
Oh, would that be a head-for-head trade? Would that be De'Aaron Fox straight up for Jimmy Butler?
That'd be interesting. I mean, I still think the best place for Butler to go would be like the Nuggets or the Warriors.
What about the Rockets?
Yeah, the Rockets too. I just don't know. I don't think the Rockets want to give up the ammo because they've got some exciting young guys. Also, did you see that play last night by Amen Thompson on Jaylen Brown? What a bucket.
No, I did not see that. I just saw the final score and just the record that the Rockets have. They're kind of like the Thunder from a couple of years ago when it was Billy Donovan still at the helm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's tough because Jaylen Brown obviously was so
so annoying about not being on the Olympics team.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see him get cooked. And he was on Amen Thompson most of the night. He was like 13 for 19, 33 points. But I think they were in Boston. He hit a bucket over him to win the game, which is pretty hype. And obviously, you never want to lose to Dylan Brooks. But NBA, I will say, whether or not you like the product, is a very interesting player diva drama, on-court commentary, and like free agency and the deadline are always the most exciting out of any of the 4 leagues. Like baseball, this baseball season has been a little fun. Probably more fun for me since the Cubs have been active for the first time in like 10
I got a
years.
question about the Cubbies for you as well.
Yeah, but honestly, I mean, I feel like I know I'm biased because we've had a lot of action going on, but there have been like more signings that got done in January than there were last year, and more action going on. Like, I feel like we have so many guys, and the Snell, Jordan Montgomery stuff.
Well, I think so much was dominated by the Shohei Ohtani, which, this year you had the Roki Sasaki ordeal and all of that, but it kind of got wrapped up rather quickly, and it was more quiet throughout the time than the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes was. So I think that Shohei Ohtani and his free agency dominated the period last year.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Yeah, I think that's a good point, Dave. I do think that, and then like Roki kind of did this one, but to no fault of his, Shohei's just way more. I mean, Shohei kind of stole the show there, so I feel like Roki was kind of a sideshow. It was like the second time around, it's a little more saturated. So
yeah, and I think there was the expectation that all of us wanted to see him when it was whittled down to 3 teams. Everyone wanted to see him go to either the Padres or the Blue Jays, but deep down in our heart of hearts, we knew Roki was going to the Japanese Dodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
The Nippon Dodgers.
Yeah.
Which, hey, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how that rotation. I mean, dadgummit, I saw an article where you could split those teams into 2, and they probably still both make the playoffs. What do you think of MLB The Show 25 going with? Yesterday it was announced Ellie De La Cruz would be the cover athlete, but it's actually a 3-man cover. It's going to be Ellie De La Cruz, Gunnar Henderson, and Paul Skeens. What do you think of those 3 guys, 3 young studs, young superstars in the game, gracing the cover of MLB The Show 25?
It's Ellie and who else?
Gunnar Henderson from Baltimore and Paul Skeens.
Right.
I don't know. I've never heard that name before, Paul Skeens, but apparently he's pretty good.
Yeah, who's that?
Yeah, he throws fastball.
Yeah, he throws fastball.
I'm going to be honest, kind of one of those things is unlike the other. Very generous to put Ellie on there with those 2.
Well, I think Ellie, it's the fact of, like, baseball's moving into this exciting character, superstar type player, right? And Ellie is that, the way that he can get around the bases. Maybe he's not as defensively sound as what some would like him to be. Strikes out a little bit more than what you would like him to, but he's still a character and fun. He's a player that's a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, I completely agree. He's a heck of a talent. Obviously, too, in Ellie, you pull a little bit more of the Latin American crowd, so I understand what they're doing there. But between him and Gunnar Henderson did like everything substantially better than Ellie this year, besides steal bases. I mean, he hit for a way higher OPS, probably hit 12 or 15 more homers. Not a batting average guy, but still definitely had a higher batting average and OBP. So, I mean, it's nice, but he almost also, I'm not the biggest wins above replacement guy, but a lot of the nerds out there are, and he probably had double what Ellie did since he doesn't strike out as much and make as many errors. But Gunnar and Skeens make a lot of sense if they wanted to go AL, NL, but I'll go out on a limb here and say Ellie is kind of a generous addition.
Okay, all right. We'll get AG's thoughts on your thought from that and see what kind of rain we can get.
On Twitter?
Yeah, right.
We'll get some thoughts from the rain cloud tomorrow afternoon here on the Afternoon Underdogs.
The rain cloud.
Oh, man, gotta love Adam Goff, also known as Fano. Go ahead.
I missed it. Dave, did you have Mahomes? Allen, was he on, or was he past line of scrimmage, or what did he get the 1 yard?
Oh, first down wise, if they would have called it a first down, I would have said that it was a first down. Since they said that it wasn't a first down on the field, I felt like that call was not something that you could switch because there was not inconclusive evidence that it was beyond the line to gain or that it was prior to the line to gain. I think that the overhead shot kind of made it a little bit more clear that he necessarily didn't get to that yard to gain. So I would say that whatever the call on the field was the call that, like, if they would have called it a first down, I think that it would have been a first down for the Bills.
Quick question. If that was Pat Mahomes and not Josh Allen, does he get the first down?
First down.
There you go.
Easy. If he didn't get the first down, then and I will say this, that's just one of the things is they're not always egregious, but yes, they're gonna get more calls, and I don't think that it's great for the NFL. Like, this is my issue with people saying that it's obviously rigged or whatever. What does the NFL gain after by ticking off a whole bunch of people? They know that the fans are there. They hear all of what's going on Twitter.
Fans are fans. It's not going to change anything. That's why they're fans.
Well, exactly. But that's what I'm getting at is if the NFL was trying to rig to make the best product for their fans, then they're not going to have the Chiefs going there back to back to back. I just think that the referees are making the calls. Yes, the better players are going to get more favorable calls, and you should know that if you're the Buffalo Bills going into that game, that you can't leave nothing up to chance. And if you've got the ball, blame Josh Allen for throwing the ball up to Dalton Kincaid instead of hitting Shakir on the little wheel route on 4th and 5.
That'll get people going, Dave.
Well, that's the thing is blame Josh Allen. Don't blame the referees in this because one thing, if you ever played sports, and I didn't play at any magnificent level, but if you played sports, one of the biggest things that you're taught, especially in the sport of baseball, is you cannot let the referee or the umpire in the sport of baseball, you can't let them be in control. You have to control what you can control, and if the refs are making bad calls, then you have to do your damnedest to go above and beyond that. And the fact that people can't get that through their thick skull is the reason why they just sit around and get on their Twitter and use their stupid thumbs to complain all day.
I'm with you, Dave. And I would say, I know the hypothetical, if it's Mahomes, they get it, maybe. But I'll tell you this, they don't run that play because Andy Reid is so much smarter than Sean McDermott. And I got to give it, and I will tell BT I said this on air, but he was right. He said about a quarter earlier, he's like, they need to stop calling a QB draw or a QB sneak to the left every time. They did it, and they were short. And then, granted, of course, Barry and I can never fully align. But he said they were on a first down, but he should have stuck with his take because he was right. The Chiefs saw that play coming from a mile away. So don't put yourself in that situation. And honestly, I think it goes, like, the Bills need to have a big time self-reflection. Like, they gifted the Chiefs Xavier Worthy. They took Keon Coleman by choice. And there were, I think, I know I'm guilty of going in and laying in on FSU, but Keon Coleman was a great college player. He was excellent, like fantastic. First round, obviously. But he did not separate himself from defenders in the ACC. And the ACC is not a defensive powerhouse. Right. And that was a big thing. Those 50-50, 60-40 balls, he was coming down with 95% of the time. And granted, Travis was throwing him good passes. Josh Allen, obviously, a far superior quarterback. However, like, Keon Coleman was bad this year. Like, that's something that the Bills need. Like, they say Josh Allen doesn't have the weapons. Draft and trade for the weapons then. Like, you got him Keon Coleman. That's on you. Not getting a speed package guy like Worthy, that's why the Chiefs are where they are, and that's why they're at home.
Yeah, and they traded with the Chiefs for that. I remember they traded to get Mahomes. We were out there at San Andy's, and I was like, what are they doing? This is going to come back to bite them, and it did in this game.
Dude, that's not even the biggest, fumble by the Bills. The Bills are the team that traded the pick to Kansas City so that Kansas City could draft Patrick Mahomes.
Well, there you go. There's another one. And then here's another thing I don't get is why do you trade for Amari Cooper in the middle of the year and then you use him as he's a fourth string wide receiver? I'm not saying that Amari Cooper is your up and up number one. He's the guy, but you should have been using him more when the Browns were using him a little bit more, especially last year. Amari Cooper was still a phenomenal wide receiver. And the fact that you trade for him and just don't even use him, to me, was kind of like making my head scratch a little bit. And then here's the other thing. How about that phenomenal touchdown run or touchdown reception by James Cook? Why was that not play? Why was that play not thought about on 4th and 5 there with at the 2-minute warning, where do the same thing, where you line up looking like you're going to go quarterback sneak, and then all of a sudden, boom, drop back in the shotgun. James Cook, this time, instead of being on the right-hand side of Josh Allen's on the left-hand side, and boom, there you go. Instead, they want to use Khalil Shakir. And why? Here's the thing. Why were you not expecting some sort of blitz on 4th and 5? Spags is obviously very sneaky with his blitzing, but yeah, there were so many things that kind of just had me scratching my head, and it comes down to coaching. And so you can blame the refs all you want, and you can boycott the Super Bowl all you want, but the Bills have to take a large role of the responsibility here, and it starts with the 2025 draft. Don't trade with the Chiefs. Whatever you do, don't trade with the Chiefs and draft who fits your system the best, because the thing is just how we talked about with the Commanders and the Eagles. The Commanders had a phenomenal season, was not expected to be here. How many of us really thought that the Bills were going to be to this point of contention this year when Stephon Diggs is gone? They really, they let basically their whole entire defensive backfield go. It felt like a retooling year for the Bills, and yet they still made it, and they fell short. That is what it is, but you've got to get that roster back under control, and Sean McDermott has to make better calls in the future. Maybe that boils down to Joe Brady. I don't know what the solution is at this point in time. However, I do know that something has to change, because doing the same thing over and over and not getting the results that you want, there's a definition for that, and that definition is insane, or that the definition of the word we're looking for is insanity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
with you.
Goodness. What do you think? Oh, last thing, 10 seconds. What'd you think of the Cubs getting Ryan Presley? It seems like y'all are becoming the little mini Astros over there.
Yeah, I don't hate it one bit. We're still in the Bregman hunt. We're talking about Michael King. The NL Central is the poorest of poor men. So being the only one spending, it's looking great for us. Now we got to make the pieces work, but no excuses. Having Kyle Tucker in the lineup is so fun. I can finally relate with you on having a superstar hitter. So
there you go.
That'll be cool.
Hey, excited, man. I'm really excited for the baseball season. Max, we got to go. Thanks so much. Really quick, tell everyone what it is you do, how they can reach you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Dave. Over at Allegiant Lending Firm, wholesale lending, condos, single-family homes, you name it. Happy to help you out. But, yeah, on that final note, too, you're right, Dave. Everything you said about that Chiefs rant, that was a great rant.
Jesus loves you, so do I. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 4.
See you, Dave.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
The 18-1 Auburn Tigers are on fire. And tomorrow night, Coach Pearl and his #1 ranked Tigers are at LSU as they look to dominate the conference bottom feeders. It's Tigers versus Tigers.